Hi Virgos, and welcome to your June 2022 General Tarot Forecast. This is Sky coming on to talk to you about your month ahead. I'm going to be providing for you all some intuitive messages about June for your sign, as well as a week-to-week tarot forecast and an extended reading on Patreon, which will be linked below. Yes, let's dive into it. So Virgo, in June of 2022, I feel that your mind and your self-communication is really rising in a powerful way this month. We have this really strong new moon in Gemini, your fellow Mercury-ruled sign, sort of demonstrating a more powerful new beginning. And that should be connecting really well with you. So for Virgos in June, it's a wonderful time for a new beginning. It's a wonderful time if you've had any projects that you needed to step in to effect or that you needed to move into action with. That's going to be really supported in June. There is a bit of a dread factor here, though, as well. So I find that June for Virgo is about understanding what you dread and then also what you want to start and balancing these things on the scales to understand how to move forward. So most people at this time have 1 foot in and 1 foot out of certain situations in their lives. And that can lead to an overwhelming question mark about how to move forward. Do we commit more to what has worked in the past, to the stability that we've generated, or do we start to step out on a whim and create new structures? Here in June, it is definitely looking like the second option. Okay, so stepping out and creating new structures and starting to understand how things are going to move forward in the future. I'm seeing a lot of pivot for Virgo people here, and I'm seeing a bit of a battle with the self that you're needing to overcome. I'm looking at that 8 of Swords and the 5 of Wands coming up for you, as well as the 6 of Cups reversed as the more difficult side. So kind of feeling entrapped by your own inner deliberation, and also feeling like you're giving too much or feeling like you're not really able to have enough left over for yourself, like being in demand, basically. I feel that people really need you during this time. I feel that for Virgos, your talents and your capability is sought after in many different places. So what that can mean is that being in such high demand, you can have little left for yourself if you are, being accessible by everybody. So June of 2022 for Virgo is going to probably introduce a new dialogue about, like, can I provide this? Can I provide this service? Can I provide this business? Can I provide this, energy in the way that I have been before? This is looking like a really powerful time, June, July, and then January of 2023, to redo contracts, to redo commitments, and to start to understand that your energy is almost like so sought after as a Virgo that you can start to choose what you give it to instead of just having to like automatically give it to get by, or just having to automatically take like what job you can, having to like take the first offer as well. So the desperation is gone for Virgo people. And now it's about choosing the most empowering path forward. And I would also like to talk a little bit about distraction as well. So being distracted by a type of work that you don't have to do anymore, being distracted by endless notifications on your device, being distracted by chatter or background noise and focusing it rather than the linear and concise path in front of you. June of 2022 for Virgos is going to be very much about refocusing and understanding what merits your attention. Okay, so it is such an evolution point for everyone here that the most difficult part is like being so accustomed to a certain motion that you don't have to do anymore. So, what's a good example? I'm trying to think. Having been so accustomed to working a certain like full-time job a few years ago, and now also having like business success that offers you much, like a exponential amount more opportunity and happiness than that previous full-time job, but still like fulfilling the full-time job. For many Virgos, there's a chance here to like evolve your career, evolve your standing evolves something drastically, but it's almost like the stability of motion fulfillment is taking some type of priority here because it is an unpredictable world and there's a lot of things happening around us right now that we can't predict. So it's almost, I'm seeing like a lot of Virgo people choosing that predictable thing, even if it's not evolving them, just because they want the security of it. So actually, you might kind of be pushed out of your comfort zone a little bit this month, especially around the full moon in Sagittarius on the 14th of June. You might find that, whoa, like I'm not capable of just staying in this place, or like, wow, fulfilling these motions, or making myself available for a type of demand that really consumes all of my energy and does not, connect to the evolution I'm feeling. That's starting to get really hard. It's starting to get really hard for everyone. It's starting to introduce even procrastination, or make us want to procrastinate, or make us want to not, just have things the best way, or have things structured properly. So the other crossroads here is like, do we do everything ourselves or do we delegate stuff? I feel like Virgo is also in this place where it's like, do I do all of this stuff that I'm so accustomed to doing all my life? Or do I delegate some of this and start to create new synapses? Ooh, that's an interesting thing. So like the creation of new synapses, I think that that's ultimately what's trying to come through for Virgo with all of this mercurial energy, new moon in Gemini season, this Taurus stellium that we had in May, the eclipses, right, that we had. For a lot of us, it showed us you can always do this. Like you can do all these motions as long as you want, but actually look at this new synapse, or look at this new development here that you probably don't have context with. Can you devote more to that? So it kind of contradicts some of the other messages that have been coming through lately, where it's like, pull back, cut expenses, do the tried and true, and gain more that way. That's a viable option, but I'm almost feeling for Virgos like you just need to outsource or delegate a lot of things and start to focus on these new synapses, especially if you are having prosperity and abundance now. So you have some wonderful major arcana energy this month. You have the Star and the Empress, okay, two beautiful major arcana cards that show you perhaps being served, or being assisted, or being able to have the luxury of time on your side, the luxury of reception. That's what the universe is giving to you this month, and it's up to you on the minor arcana end to really face this 8 of Swords, 5 of Wands, 6 of Cups reversed situation. So feeling trapped in a negative self-dialogue and overgiving is really the detriment I feel for Virgo right now. And it's like up to you to figure out like where that's channeling in your life and how to overcome that. But let's talk about your week-to-week Virgos. Week number 1, the Star rooted down by the Ace of Swords. Brand new ideas, brand new concepts, brand new synapses. That's really where that message is coming from. The fortification of new infrastructure. For some of you, you're like, just suddenly the very last piece of the structure is nailed into place, and now it functions as like a full entity of its own. So if you're building a house, you might be nailing that final board into place here, or taking the cellophane off of that final part of the interior, and it's like, here it is, it's ready, it's a full functioning organism now. So taking something from a structuring process to a fulfillment or a finalization to where it has its own life or its own breath, and you don't perhaps have to work so hard on it. That's very positive in the first week. Also, any type of rejuvenation, so spa, sauna, detox, with the Star card, any type of natural healing comes up as a very important thing, and you could get new ideas about your health, or new ideas about rejuvenating your body. I feel like there's something tired, okay? I feel like there's something that is like perhaps burned out or overwhelmed, and the first week of June is going to be an important time. For some of you, it might be taking a vacation. For some of you, it might be getting by the water, or even going to like really healing waters, so like hot springs, or some type of water that has a healing history or origin to it. So I would definitely support that for you all right now. In week number 2, you have the Empress rooted down by the Eight of Swords. So the only thing holding you back now is like a train of thought or a habitual thinking cycle. Really, the Empress archetype is here, and it is what's above the surface, but beneath the surface, there could be like an insecurity or some kind of feeling of confinement. So we have basically this combination of passive ease, tranquility, nobility, capability, combined with the feeling of kind of being trapped within that. So you could kind of be seeing like that you have a tendency to doubt or think twice about your abundance or prosperity. And that's something that I think Virgos really have to get on top of here in the second week. It's good to not think so hard about it or to not think too much about, what if this happened or why am I stuck in this place? Instead, it's better to just embrace the prosperity that is here because Eight of Swords, I think, is more of a prevalent archetype than most people can see at this time because I think people are really overthinking a lot of their situation and perhaps building themselves a lot of confines that aren't really there when in reality there's just like this Empress situation. So the second week is about embracing prosperity, and if you are second guessing the prosperity or if you feel like it has some type of difficult attachment, or in order to get that prosperity you feel like you have to be confined in some way, maybe there is a greater thought process there or a greater moral to what is happening in that context. I think that it's hard to really dodge prosperity at this point for Virgo. Like there's not that much thinking or worrying that you can actually do to detract from it. So situations become easier, more abundant, and more prosperous. And it really shows if we are kind of our own worst enemy or if we're trying to like think our way through or out of prosperity. So the overactive mind, the confines of hyper consciousness, definitely visible. And I think that it's really nice to start channeling that more because oftentimes Eight of Swords results from an unchanneled energy, or the mind or perceived confinement is the result of not having, really stretched the energetic body or having kind of had an atrophy effect of certain energetic feelings. That's what the archetype of confinement results from. So getting out of the comfort zone and stepping into new territories, developing new synapses is going to be the solution there. Week number 3, Knight of Cups rooted down by the Five of Wands. Again, it's kind of a similar paradox to the second week where it's like Knight of Cups is a very like reserved, refined, and even tempered energy. But then Five of Wands is like the polar opposite. It's like a competitive and very, even athletic or direct in any type of problem and argumentative even. So in the same way that the Empress and Eight of Swords are not super compatible, it is the same in the third week. So you're working perhaps with some incompatibility here, as everybody is, having one foot in and one foot out of the old and new world. It's not just you, Virgo, but because of your mental logistical capability, you kind of want to figure it out, or your mind keeps like trying to figure this stuff out. And eventually you just kind of have to relinquish it or allow other people also to make their decisions and not feel so liable, I think, for others, or not feel so in charge. Because sometimes it's like with these energies that I'm feeling, we think that we are carrying the burden for everybody, or we have something to owe for everybody, having to hold up the world on our shoulders. Let's try to allow other people to be liable for themselves, or to accept our own prosperity while giving other people the freedom or autonomy to determine that for themselves too. Week 4, you have the Six of Cups reversed, rooted down by the Knight of Swords. Okay, so quickly moving away from overgiving, quickly walking away from any type of also parasitic energy. You could see that people have like entitlements, or people have expectations, or you could be paying, over giving for something, working too hard. Make sure that you're being reimbursed, or make sure that you're getting paid for the time that you work. Things like that. Six of Cups represents a natural give and take or a transference of sorts. And when it's in the reversed, we can see unfair transfers or unfair give and takes. So it's a good to look at any relationships that you have, business or personal, that require some type of transfers, and reassess those, because you have an opportunity with Knight of Swords to really get that stuff right here. And Virgo, let's talk a little bit more about that in your extended reading, talking about making sure that we are creating a fair and sensible network of give and take in our life. Let's take a look into compromise as well. And yes, if you haven't checked the Patreon page out yet, come check it out. It has a lot of valuable premium content. So I'll link that below and in the center of your screen now. Let's do this extended, Virgos. Much love. Bye.